There have been many calls over the last few years at least, especially on social media, for a drastic change in our government, in our political system, even in our American culture itself, a revolution, for lack of a better word. That got me to thinking about just what that could mean, about the implications of such a movement, and the possible result. That word, revolution. It has been with us all through history. So many empires, kingdoms, and governments have been torn down and rebuilt again and again, but we never seem to find a system with which we can be satisfied. Perhaps the problem is with the concept of revolution in and of itself. I mean, revolution could mean a sudden, radical, or complete change, a fundamental change in political organization. I can certainly see the reason for this action. On all levels, our systems seem broken and near collapse. Change is needed. But the word revolution also means a progressive motion of a body around an axis so that any line of the body parallel to the axis returns to its initial position. In other words, we spin in circles until we wind up back where we started. So inevitably there will be yet another revolution, and another and another. Instead, I propose an evolution, a process of continuous change to a higher, more complex or better state. A process of gradual and relatively peaceful social, political, and economic advance. Change is good, even necessary. Growth is better. Moving forward, not in a circle. We can continue to revolve around the same old ideas, beliefs, and prejudices. Or we can move forward and leave behind those attributes that are holding us back and pulling us down as a nation, a culture, and a species. So do we continue our dizzying spin? Always but never really changing? Or do we move forward and grow? I believe it is time for an evolution. The process of evolution cannot be an easy one. Using Darwin's theory as our inspiration means it comes down to the survival of the fittest. Except in this context, we are talking about ideals, perception, and social interaction. And the deciding factor is not nature or random selection. It is us. It is we who will oversee and guide the direction in which we will evolve. We can strive for utopia, or descend into dystopia. We can continue to divide ourselves into separate groups based on preconceived notions and biases of race, gender, sexual orientation, or political ideology. With those groups dividing into even smaller and more rigidly defined parameters until we are a nation of tribes, clans, and cliques. In other words, we would not be a nation at all. The Constitution we hail so proudly as the blueprint of a free nation becomes just so many words. As long as there is an us and a them, there is no we the people. And without that, there can be no perfect union, no justice, and most assuredly no domestic tranquility. We cannot provide for the common defense while we continue to play a strong offense against each other. We only demote the general welfare rather than promote it. We endanger the blessings of liberty to ourselves as well as our posterity. We do rescind and refute the Constitution and disunite the states of America. Conflict and disagreement are nothing new. Even before the American colonies pulled away from the British Empire, we fought among ourselves over the issue of independence. We have fought wars against other powers and against each other. We fought over our role in both world wars and others around the globe, many saying we had no place in the fight, others seeing a need to join. We have clashed and argued and committed violence over racial, social, political, economic, and 100 other issues. Anger and fear and frustration take hold, blinding our reason and deafening our understanding. Conflicts are left unresolved. The cycle seems eternal. Or we can choose to come together and find a way to live with our differences. We could choose acceptance, tolerance, and understanding over anger, distrust, and ego. It sounds simple, I know, but simple and easy do not mean the same thing, do they? The concept may be simple, but the process is a daunting one. It requires preserving and acknowledging our history, both good and ill, while at the same time letting it go. We, as a nation and as a species, have accomplished great and amazing things. We have also shown great carelessness and cruelty. Our history is as complex and contradictory as we are as individuals. So we must embrace our past, admit our missteps, and then leave it behind. Conqueror and conquered, oppressor and oppressed, red and blue, rich and poor. Every variation of the human species, we must move forward together, if we are to move forward at all. We cannot go back and change our history, but we can end the forces that keep us revolving around it. To be the land of the free, we must break free of the divisions between us and strengthen the bonds that unite us. It will take time, dedication, education, and maybe a miracle. But if we have faith in ourselves and each other, who knows? Maybe, just maybe, we can all win.